Hola, I'm really sorry I can't come with you to Madrid, but make yourself at home in my flat. I have enclosed the keys. The address is on the back of this letter, and I also got you this Spanish phrasebook. It might come in handy. Enjoy your stay. Tu amiga, Teresa.
Hola, I am your phrasebook, and I'll be helping you as we go along. Hola, that's Spanish for hello. Other essentials are excuse me, perdón. It sounds like pardon, perdón. Thank you is, of course, gracias. Click the buttons next to each word, and I'll repeat or translate it for you. I'll say adios for now. When you're ready, click next to carry on, and I'll see you in Madrid. Hola. Hola. Perdón. Perdón. Gracias. Gracias. Adiós. Adiós.
¿Cómo se llama la calle?
Did you get that? He's asking, ¿cómo se llama la calle? What's the name of the street? La calle, the street. Click next, and we'll look at the address that Teresa's written on the back of her letter. Bueno, she's written it down the Spanish way. Click on the 3 different parts, and I'll talk you through them, so you can tell the taxi driver where we need to go. C-stroke. That's the abbreviation for calle, street. Dos hermanas, 2 sisters, is the name of the street. In Spanish, the H is always silent. 30, 30, is the house number. Try saying it as you'll need to tell the cab driver in a moment. Dos hermanas, 30.
Was that this is another content. I have not downloaded the content or connected to this because we cannot embed the story to this particular presentation. So you have to click the link which can be availed from the PPT and you can watch it. This is one of the finest content ever developed in e-content format. It talks about diabetics and obesity, one of the award-winning content, Golden Award. Actually, it was also one of the oldest story, not a new one, but even then, it's one of the most favorite, my favorite content. And this is another thing about Khan Academy. Khan Academy is the US based company where they offer most of the content free and some of them are premium contents, mostly known for mathematics content. But I saw one video about Meet the Heart. I have given the link. I could not again embed the video here, but you can watch it. It's a very interesting way of connecting with the youngsters through 2D, 3D, virtual and augmented reality content. That is very interesting and you have to watch it. Baiju, emerging platform, and this is very interesting that I have again a very brief, though it's a 4 minutes, I have not played all the 4 minutes here. You can watch it for 1 or 2 minutes. You can find out how the young boy is narrating that why we cannot live without a brain, or how it is possible even without parts of brain that was people have lived in the history. That very interesting thing.
Our brain is one of the most important parts of the human body that controls almost all bodily functions. How much of a brain do you think you could live without? Quarter? Half? No brain at all? That sounds weird, right? But that's possible. The brain is a very complex organ. Even though it is divided into parts like the cerebrum, which controls crucial functions like your emotions and learning ability, and cerebellum, which controls activities like muscle movements and balance. But the brain's function isn't just towards the body. It also determines your personality. And the best example for this is Phineas Gage. In 1843, Phineas Gage, a railroad worker, while loading his gun, accidentally impaled his skull with a 43-inch long rod, and yet he survived. Later studies on his mental health showed that his social behavior had changed drastically so much that he was no longer Gage. His case was the first to suggest a link between brain trauma and personality change. Another interesting case was in 2014 when a 24-year-old woman in China went to a hospital complaining about nausea and dizziness. The doctors developed a CT scan and found out that the woman was born without a cerebellum and yet lived a good part of her life normally, not even knowing anything about it. The brain's functionality is not just localized to these parts, but rather spread across the brain. And the interesting part is that most of these brain parts have the power to adapt to the functionality of other parts, and this phenomenon is popularly called neuroplasticity. This adaptation is most visible under extreme conditions. Talking about extreme conditions, in 2001, during Christmas Eve, Trevor Waltrip was born without a forebrain. His condition, called hydranencephaly, where your usual cerebral hemispheres are missing and the cranial cavity is filled with just cerebrospinal fluid. Even without a brain, Trevor lived for 12 years, thereby setting an
Was the presentation. Hope you enjoyed that, and you can always click the link given below so that you can watch it, the full story, that how effectively the stories are being narrated and very effectively being conveyed to the listeners and students. This is a 3-hour course available on Big Data Fundamentals. Big Data is an emerging data analytics, and Big Data are the emerging knowledge domains one need to learn about it, irrespective of your area of specialization, that you may have to learn that. And if you want to know what is big data or anything related to, they have a tool called Hadoop, and all the things are being very interestingly being developed and delivered through a 3-hour course. These are all called nano credits. Even less than 1 credit we can learn anything and we can get to know about things, and you can, that's what the massive open thing is called. Open will never have anything ending or precondition or the thing or time, nothing. You can learn about anything and move on to anything that you want to know, right? And this is Sugata Mitra, that one of the powerful speaker. Very politely he has been delivering the future of learning. It's a long video, 22 minutes video, but I want to play you for about 2-3 minutes so that you can understand that how effectively, that if you enjoy and if you understand and if you completely digested the concepts, and if you want to narrate something, and if you have the passion for storytelling, how effectively you can deliver thing. That I enjoyed this lecture, and I always want my students to watch this particular lecture. If time permits, go and click the particular link and learn this particular lecture and whatever you like. TED is a very interesting platform. Whoever that, whatever be the lecture that is available on TED, you should not miss that. Very powerful lectures, and content is very interesting. Do that.
What is going to be the future of learning? I do have a plan, but in order for me to tell you what that plan is, I need to tell you a little story which kind of sets the stage. I tried to look at where did the kind of learning we do in schools, where did it come from? And you can look far back into the past, but if you look at present-day schooling the way it is, it's quite easy to figure out where it came from. It came from about 300 years ago. And it came from the last and the biggest of the empires on this planet. Imagine trying to run the show, trying to run the entire planet without computers, without telephones, with data handwritten on pieces of paper and traveling by ships. But the Victorians actually did it. What they did was amazing. They created a global computer made up of people. It's still with us today. It's called the bureaucratic administrative machine. In order to have that machine running, you need lots and lots of people. They made another machine to produce those people, the school. The schools would produce the people who would then become parts of the bureaucratic administrative machine. They must be identical to each other. They must know 3 things. They must have good handwriting, because the data is handwritten. They must be able to read, and they must be able to do multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction in their head. They must be so identical that you could pick one up from New Zealand and ship them to Canada, and he would be instantly functional. The Victorians were great engineers. They engineered a system that was so robust that is still with us today, continuously producing identical people for a machine that no longer exists. The empire's gone. So what are we doing with that design that produces these identical people? And what are we going to do next, if we ever are going to do anything else with it? So that's a pretty strong comment there. I said, schools as we know them now, they're obsolete. I'm not saying they're broken. It's quite fashionable to say that the education system's broken. It's not broken. It's wonderfully constructed. It's just that we don't need it anymore. It's outdated. What's the kind of jobs that we have today? Well, the clerks are the computers. They're there in thousands in every office. And you have people who guide those computers to do their clerical jobs. Those people don't need to be able.
And An Academy is a private platform that is being fastly developing, and they aim for teaching the competitive exams, but their art of delivering and the art of playing is very interesting, and with the simple tools and simple mechanism that they teach you, that right from grammar to all complex things one should know about to write competitive exams. Very successful, private, and youngsters in India have started it, and one should know about it. And what I would suggest is that you have to undergo one massive open online course from a very competitive platforms like Coursera. Coursera will never allow you to award certificates just because you are attending, because you have to score minimum 70% and above. And I had an experience sometime back to attend their course, where along with me 80,000 participants. At the time it was around 80,000. Later I came to know that even 1 lakh people have been attending the course, and that was actually even the teacher or the course teacher cannot meet the students he has been teaching. Humanly, it won't be possible to meet 80,000 students over 6 weeks of time. So he has developed a rubric to evaluate the assignments, and very well developed, brilliantly developed quizzes are available. You can't just Google and find the answer for that. Only when you know the concepts and understand that, you can answer that. And answers are not searchable, and the lectures are very interesting, and it's very helpful to plan and develop massive open online course. And this is again in the history of massive open online courses, there are very few courses are very popular across the time, and all along the period that one popular course I like is the future of storytelling, that is being offered by German University, and one of the German universities is being offering it. I'll play about 1 or 2 minutes so that you can watch it and find out why this particular presentation is so energetic and interesting also.
Let's get started. Welcome to our MOOC on the future of storytelling, or as we would say in German, herzlich willkommen zu unserem MOOC über die Zukunft des Geschichtenerzählens. My name is Christina Maria Schollerer and I'll lead you through this course. Julian van Dieken is our director and sits behind the camera. And like Professor Constanze Lange and Professor Winfried Gerling, I'm a lecturer at the University of Applied Sciences in Potsdam, and one of the creators of this course. Apart from teaching, I'm a writer and a storyteller myself, which is why I'm really happy to be able to create and teach this course. And even more so about all of you, our students, that share my passion for storytelling and connecting on such a wide level. What you can experience here is the first ever course of this scale that my school, the University of Applied Sciences here in Potsdam, has ever created. Our whole university has about 3,000 enrolled students. By now you guys are far more than 40,000, so that's more than 10-15 times the students of my whole school, where usual courses have like 10 to 30 students each enrolled. Meaning, this really is a little adventure for all.
Now, with this understanding about the massive open online courses, we'll move on to the SWAYAM. What one should bother about or note about SWAYAM. SWAYAM is Study Web of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds. Probably by this time would have been very thorough with what SWAYAM is. And SWAYAM If you want to know about massive open online courses being offered by other universities, other platforms in the country, then in the world, you have to go to this particular search engine called Class Central. If you go there, you can find out very interesting courses. I have been teaching one course called Media Law and Ethics, and I want to know that how many courses are being offered on ethics. I found a minimum of 320 courses are available, offered by different universities. Not only about the enrollment, even the number of courses are also coming up very fast. And IMB, right, in one of the Indian SWAYAM platform, and they are one of the course builders, and they decided to bring the teachers out of the studios, so that one of the sample video I watched was very interesting. That the teacher comes to the road, and in the middle of the road he is standing in the campus, right, in a university campus or probably the IMB campus, and he is standing in the middle of the road. There was no traffic at all, and he started delivering interesting quotes amidst full of trees and music of the birds and other things. And now I want you to find out, this particular video has been watched by 22 million. Yeah, 22 million means more than 2 crore people. Only when you started to post something on YouTube and waiting for the scores, you'll come to know that how difficult it is to reach even tens and hundreds. If you reach 1,000, then you should be a great orator. But this particular gentleman has delivered a lecture which runs for about 22 million viewers. Last time I saw it was around 1.6 million about 6 months back, but now it has reached more than 22 million. Last year it was 16 million, it is now reached about 22 millions. The link is given below. I have not embedded the audio video here. Click the video and find out 2 reasons, so that when we come up for the discussion, you can tell me the reason, we can discuss about it. And
Hi, I'm Tim, and this is my pronunciation workshop. Here, I'm going to show you how English is really spoken. It'll help you become a better listener and a more fluent speaker. Come on, let's go inside. Have you ever seen a ghost? No, of course you haven't, because they don't exist. But have you ever heard a sound that wasn't there? Well, if you've listened to lots of real English, you probably have. We asked the people of London what they think is the most important thing the government should prioritise. This is what they said.
I think law and order is important.
Yes, I think law and order is important.
Law and order is very important.
We all think that law and order is important.
I think law and order is very important.
Meet my boys. Law and order. Join them together with the word and and you can hear another sound after the word law. Listen out for it.
I think law and order is important.
Yes, I think law and order is important.
Law and order is very important.
We all think that law and order is important.
I think law and order is very important.
In fluent speech, if a word ends in an or sound, like law, and the next word begins in an you'll often hear a r sound linking them together. Law and order. Law and order. Law and order is easier to say than law and order. It flows better, and this is called intrusion. Now, this is a little bit controversial. It doesn't happen in all accents, and some people do say it's not the proper way to speak. But it is something that you'll hear. Just remember the r sound is not very strong. Here are some other examples.
Can you draw a circle freehand?
My dog hurt its paw on some broken glass. There was a flaw in the argument.
I saw a good film last night.
Right, so you've heard the examples. Now it's your turn. Are you ready to give it a try? Listen and repeat.
Can you draw a circle freehand?
My dog hurt its paw on some broken glass. There was a flaw in the argument.
I saw a good film last night.
How did you do? Well done. Now, if you want to read more about this topic, please visit our website, bbclearningenglish.com. And that's it from the pronunciation workshop for this week. Bye-bye. Now, do you want a war or what? Ah.
So, what I have tried to show you is the major successful experiments, glimpses of major successful experiments in SWAYAM as well as in the global MOOCs. I can recall it that number one, mobile phone is ubiquitous everywhere, and one should have the critical mind to find out the videographs, and you can't accept all the video, though it is being produced by the great men, that you should know that unless you have the critical mind, unless you have the habit of questioning it, you should not accept that. And from there we moved on to the multiple screens that the world is using. From that we have seen one of the greatest works that has been produced here. We saw the relevance or the importance of storytelling in our life, particularly in the education of the field of education. And then we have watched the couple of great works done in Europe and India also. Now, with these things you can evaluate, critically evaluate what is the right and what is wrong in MOOCs. If you watch about 3 minutes, you can tell us that this is a well-produced MOOC where easily I am being connected, where I could learn some things. So with this, I would like to conclude. Before concluding, I want to tell you something about the emerging trends in the MOOCs. What will be the future of MOOCs? Say that there are 8 major flags have been identified or flagged by the researchers. The first one is adaptive learning going to be the next level. It won't be just learning what we have been doing. Adaptive learning will be the next higher level. And micro-learning. Micro-learning refers to smaller concepts, learning anything that you want to learn, right? What the role of encyclopedia that I have played long back, what the role of the great works, they all can be converted into, with the help of instructional design, The content is being delivered within 3 minutes. What we have seen in the BBC pronunciation workshop, that such kind of micro learning will take up. We saw about big data and Hadoop, how in 3 hours that they have been transferring, and artificial intelligence and learner resistant think. And every learner will be unique, and he or she will be targeted, and they can be given. And gamification and game-based learning makes it life more interesting. And virtual reality and augmented reality, that is the obvious next progressive path of technology. And video-based learning, that has started at least 30-40 years ago. And social learning, where we learn with global community. The community is not the neighbor one, right? Social learning has become a great thing. And content curation. A teacher has to curate content. As I said about the media law and ethics class, where I found about more than 30-40 lectures parallelly going on, I can identify the best content. For example, I can tell you one thing, that when I started teaching media law and ethics, particularly on Indian Constitution, that I came across one interesting video developed by Rajya Sabha TV that was well produced by a eminent filmmaker, and it's a 10-hour video. One should not miss that. You have to watch it so that playing 10 hours, I was able to bring the entire history of constitutional making to our students of Central University master degree students who have been they were able to appreciate that in a much interesting way, and I was also very happy to share the content with my students always. So curate, find out the best content. Be not only about the form of text, you have to search for video, animated content, and well lectured podcast. There are very interesting podcasts available. So with this, let me conclude at the moment, and thank you friends for joining this lecture, and I have given you some links to follow it up and to look out for answers to some of the questions, and hopefully we'll have a interaction through a given platform by the organizers, and I'm very eagerly awaiting for your questions and your doubts about the lecture and anything related to this content. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you.